What is up, everybody? It is Friday night, and you are watching the Ultimate Schmodown Show pre-game special for the pay-per-view that we have going on tonight with Corruption facing off against Shazam in a team's championship match, with the undercard being Gray Drake and Stacey Howard making their return to the ring. I'm joined as always by my boys, and I mean that would be O with like 17 eyes, as many, and then you hit one too many eyes, and then it skips to like the next level of the text, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna back up because I didn't want to make it like too long. That's how many eyes. John, how's it going, bud?
It's going well. The number of eyes you were looking for is 37.
I was gonna say 42, but Boggs, how's it going over there on the other side?
Yeah, good, man. Looking forward to this pay-per-view. Can't wait to break it down, give my predictions, discuss what's going on. We've got a secret guest in the background somewhere.
We do. And
well, I think our names might be displayed on screen right now.
It's true.
I don't know how much.
It's true. You know,
I didn't see that.
Thought about it so last minute that, you know, now that we think about it, we didn't think about it enough. But today on this episode, we are going to discuss the two semi-final matches of the singles tournament. Fantastic matches between Ethan Irwin and Jeff Snyder, and Lightning Liz Shannon Miller and the Coyote Adam Collins. But before we get to that, we are joined by a very special guest. Somebody who sees and hears more of me than anyone on the internet can ever hope to hear.
More than me?
What? Maybe you, like maybe you. Maybe okay. You, and the only other person is her brother. It is my partner in crime. It is the one, the only. Miss Gayane is joining us today.
Hi. I'm very
making a debut
to join the gang for the first time, because usually I'm just listening to half the conversation in the other room and then hearing everybody else like 30 seconds later and commenting. So now I was not the first viewer, or I guess I was in a different regard.
Yes.
But I am here, and did you already say what match?
No, but
okay.
She has her wine and she is ready, because there is only one way to discuss The Bachelor, and that is to batch out with some wine. I unfortunately cannot mix wine with what I was already drinking today, or else I would be joining her. But we are also going to break down the Bachelor match between Nick Vidal, who is one of the Vial. No D. Excuse me. I'm already. Yeah. See. This is why she's here. This is why she's here, folks. You know why she's here. Yeah. And going up against Ashley Iconetta Haben.
Yes, because she got married.
Because she got married to Inner Geekdom contestant Jared Haben. And I did not know what to expect out of this match. This match had a lot to do. And one of our very close friends, Eliza, has joined the chat. Oh, welcome. Hi, Eliza. It is hopefully joining us with a little glass of something. But with a little something was this match. It was fun. It was different. And no one knew how the questions were going to go. There's how many seasons of this show?
Over 20. I want to say.
I mean, there's The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, right?
So that would be including The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I think we're gotten to like 19 and like 27 or something like that. Like more of The Bachelor, because obviously things for men always come first. And then if you add in, they did Bachelor Pad and Bachelor in Paradise, then you definitely have more.
And Winter Games too.
Yeah,
they did Winter Games. Then they got even into deeper cuts with one-on-ones, with group dates, with first impression roses. No. I mean, this is stuff that is some like serious Bachelor content. Like if you are one who is, like, you have watched every season of this show and you really understand it, they were really getting specific with a lot of these questions, and specifically mentioning, because it's not like in 1974 who won the best picture. It's in this person's season of The Bachelor. So you have to correlate immediately. You know who this person is, whose season that they're talking about. And then you have to be able to decipher whatever else they're coming with. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I have been watching that show since I was like probably too young to be watching it, like an early teenager. And I have not seen every season because I went away to college and stopped watching it, or I used to not watch The Bachelor because I could not deal with the women's drama or like whatever. Like it's been on forever. And I don't, especially, I should maybe hold on to this thought, but I don't know if people who have been on the show are necessarily actually the best people to answer the questions about it, right? Because you know the people to a certain degree, but like once you get to know them, you're probably not going to go back and watch the drama that they were a part of on TV.
Right. It's very different because you got to throw that bait out, right? Sometimes you got to, we had to, the Star Wars division now is not filled with quite the Twitter follower star power that it once was. I think that's a fair connection to make because it really started
with Sam,
right? With Sam Witwer,
with actual Star Wars people, yeah, like
right with people that are like in Star Wars, right? People that are going to bring a certain group of people to the ring, and I think this was a good start.
No, I agree
and I think that it just has, with the level of questions that they're asking, they can get the same level of I have no better way to say this other than fucks given than the same that are given by the Star Wars competitors that we saw in the Star Wars League, because there are people who give as many fucks about the Bachelor and the Bachelor universe than there are that care about the Star Wars universe. I mean, this show has 16 to 25 million viewers, depending on the show, a week.
Yeah.
That's an unprecedented amount of stuff. And a lot of it is like, it's carryover from other shows, but that's how network television works. And they take advantage of it. And they're kind of sitting on a gold mine here. Boggs, you watch the match. So as somebody who, does not partake in the batching, as we will,
you could just say
what were your overall impressions of the trivia? Were you satisfied with the competitors as a whole? Or did it lack in certain areas, or did you feel satisfied?
Overall, I mean, we can get into it, but overall, yeah, quite satisfied. I mean, I didn't have a clue what they were asking, or I did kind of understand that there were different variations of the show, and there were obviously a lot of seasons, so I did get that. But obviously, who they're asking about, and I've got no idea. But yeah, I could tell straight, even in round one, the questions seemed quite in depth. So yeah, I mean, it was just something that I didn't know the contents of. But no, I could still, understand the competitiveness of it, and I could see that they did know, what they were, like they're quite thorough, they know their stuff basically. But yeah, overall, I mean, I did like it more, kind of the more deeper into the match we got, because we saw more of like Nick's personality, and Jared getting involved as well.
You did.
Yeah, he brought a bit of I don't know. Just a bit of like schmodown realness, like saying, oh, he spun kind of, she spun from round two, you stuck on your wheel slash, and then, she got an easier round two, more in her strength. And I was like, yeah, go on, Jared. Yeah, that's a schmodown voice speaking. But no, overall, I did reasonably enjoy it. Yeah, it was a bit, the major negative I had was like the sound quality, and just overall, people really talking over each other. Maybe the streaming kind of equipment wasn't up to scratches like Schmodown competitors and stuff. And I did find it a bit annoying like that, to be honest. But I mean, that's no slight on the match. That's just the overall kind of.
I think Gayane pointed that out.
Yeah, Nick put in AirPods and he had a lot of background noise, but what Boz is still accurate, because since Jared wanted to be a part of it, Ashley didn't put in headphones. So even if like her laptop or whatever like had decent speakers, like anybody with a Mac these days does.
They might not have the mic we have that's able to, like, we're able to sit here and y'all aren't hearing feedback right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they had a different one, they could be hearing a lot of feedback.
I mean, I really want to know what John thought, but I also I think going
really.
John doesn't want to. No.
John might not have watched it.
I don't want to know what John thought. No. I was just gonna say, like, I think there are two sides that like we're definitely missing at the top of the match. Like for the majority of Schmodown, viewers who, or like the large portion of them, maybe not majority, who probably don't watch or don't know anything about the Bachelor world. There needed to be at least like a tiny bit more of an intro into that. And then I definitely think that like, and maybe they did this off camera and maybe Nick just wasn't listening or whatever, but like Christian and they do the rules every single time and they go through them with so much detail. And these are for people who know exactly what they're doing. So like, why don't we take 30 extra seconds for people who don't know what they're doing and have never done it before to like go over how the game works just a tiny bit more. Like, I'm not surprised at all if Nick was not listening to the rules, to be honest. But more. Like, I'm not surprised at all.
Whoa.
Was not
we started playing in the background.
Point so good, we played it twice.
Bam. I think Nick was also. I think there's something to be said that we've also heard the same pretty much for the last 2 months. The same 8 categories for the first 8 questions for pretty much every singles or teams outside of a couple variations. And I think there is an argument to be made that they should have said, okay, here are the questions we're going to be asking. We're going to be asking things from the categories, right? We're going to be asking you questions from The Bachelor. And by that, we mean individual seasons, and it can be anything, which is mind-boggling to think about if you're able to like have to go through 27 seasons of television in one category. That's absolutely absurd.
Trivia forever.
Like, there's literally they didn't seem to have an issue with that though, like which I was quite impressed with. Like they seem to, because I didn't know how many seasons there are.
A lot of that is because it seemed to me that they're able to do math problems because they're a part of this world. Okay. So the Bachelor Connected Universe is like, it's like Boggs. Like if you get married, like bro, like I'll like I'll do my best to like come out for it, right? So boys. It's like these people are homies, like with their friends that are on the show with them, and then they're friends with the homies that were on their show because they hung out with them and they were people. So they're able to like connect dots, I think, which is a little different for these two competitors because they're both very much entrenched in this world. It's like if we were able to like have Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano have a like Star Wars history, like a world of Star Wars history competition, they would do pretty well because they live in the world. These two people are literally entrenched in this world. And I think it'd be interesting to have like the bystanders, the people who watch the show, the fans. So I think that kind of gets back to my original point of the bait that they're putting out with this first match, that I'm hoping it reaches those people. Like, like Gayane, like we love the show, but there are questions they're asking you recall.
Listen, like I'm not going to retain those group dates, nor do I want to. Like, I don't even remember. I did not watch the season that Ashley Iaconetti was originally on. So I can't tell you which one it was. I don't remember whose season Jared was on. Like, I know who they are because I continue to like immerse myself into that world and consume their drama and like listen to a podcast that's interesting and also about it or like whatever. But I don't really remember. And so I mean, like my criticism aside, like I completely get it. You have to bring in like professionals or known people to start it off. You're not going to get anywhere by bringing in like me. And obviously I don't want to do it. I would fail epically, but you're not going to get anywhere. But like that being, I don't know, not that being said, they are also good options because they both have podcasts. A lot of people in that world now do. A lot of people in obviously every world now do. But like at least they're like continuing to talk to people and bring people in and bring the new people in and like all of that stuff.
I mean, it was a good start. I think it was a good start. If you're looking at like, things we've talked about on this show, Boggs, you've always said you'd love to see a Star Trek division. I've always said I'd love to see like an anime division, just like trying to expand the brand of Schmodown, right? So when you're looking at like endless amounts of information, The Bachelor is definitely one of those that is a niche audience enough that you're in it. It's got decades now of history and information. So, I mean, John, I'm just going to go ahead and assume you did not watch the match.
I don't know why you would assume that.
Okay, but you did know about Winter Games. So
you might have watched the match.
Did you watch The Bachelor?
Yeah, do you watch The Bachelor?
Not only did I watch the match. I've been watching The Bachelor since Colton Underwood's season a couple years ago. I watch a Bachelor YouTube channel, and I've even checked out Tyler C's YouTube channel. No, not the new one from Claire's season. I mean classic Tyler C from Hannah B's season.
You mean the one whose best friend is going to be the next Bachelor and the first Black Bachelor, right?
That is correct.
So then, John, I sincerely apologize because we had the exact same amount of Bachelor background and knowledge. Because that's basically...
You started watching a few seasons before that one, but I knew I didn't want to watch Colton's, and then when we kept seeing the fence jump,
I had to see that boy jump that fence. God, I had to see that boy jump that
fence. That's fair.
God,
fun fact, turns out that guy sucks.
Yeah, a lot of that season really sucked. And then, yeah, everything up until now. I'm a Paradise guy. I love Paradise. Paradise is shit. I live for Paradise because it's the closest thing to the real world I'll ever get.
You guys watch that?
Which one?
Listen to Your Heart.
You mean the best show of all fucking time? You mean the show that, like, if we weren't together, I would definitely have like auditioned for?
Like, that's an incredibly bold thing to say.
Can I tell Boggs and all of your Schmodown viewers?
Please, everyone who doesn't know what this show is.
It premiered like in like February, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
January or this was right before.
It was right before quarantine, and then the finale like gave me hope and love, like right at the beginning. Because
it was still going on when we were in quarantine. But it was a dating show with like aspiring musicians. Like they all had like a little bit of success. They all had like great voices, but most of them weren't standout stars. And the point was that they were supposed to grow their relationships while also like performing together. But then of course it's The Bachelor. So there's like roses to give out, and there's like chances to go on like 2-on-1 dates, and chances to like ditch the person you were with to go be with this other person that you might have a thing with. But there is at least the couple that won seem really solid and make me happy.
They're fantastic. Their debut album was fantastic, and they were
Bree and
Chris.
So I just checked our YouTube channel. We have 53 subscribers. I'll just go ahead and toss this baby out there. If we get to 100 subscribers, I'll convince the other hosts and the other producers to let me do a full-on video essay about why Listen to Your Heart is the best Bachelor show.
Can we both just do it? Because
I'll toss that nugget out there. Sure, absolutely.
It's literally the best show that's ever been made. I will hands down say that if there is reality television,
said that about a lot of things.
Yeah, but I have also said that about.
He said that about his breakfast this morning.
Multiple times. Listen to Your Heart provided me with such joy and happiness.
That said, we do have to move on because we also have 2 other matches, and I believe the pay-per-view event starts at 5, right? So I'll just go ahead and say, yeah, pretty good match. Gayane is very right. Someone should have told those poor kids the rules because Ashley knew him and Nick sure didn't. The whole Nick-Jared scuff that happened in round 2, that's classic Bachelor fare, baby. It might have been real kind of awkward. I mean, it hit for Boggs, I guess, which is good. But that's absolutely what you can expect on a season of The Bachelor. Is just some real alpha dogging.
Hey, John, can I stop you for a second? And let's transition over to the first semifinals match of the week. Boom! How about them apples? We have Ethan Irwin versus Jeff Snyder. So I honestly didn't expect this to be the first match released. I was extremely surprised that this was the Monday Patreon match because I mean, this just had star power. This just had but this would have been, oh man, could you imagine having just watched that match? Woo! Because Boggs,
my boy Jeff,
your boy's back. Take the floor. I was going to say Boggs has open floor to discuss as much of this as he wants and transition it over to John for first round statistics. Not that there was much else to talk about.
Yeah, no, just at the start, the Sam taking shots at him saying, oh, I wonder when he will break in the match, which I did find funny, to be honest. But yeah, no, but it's true though. It's true. I mean, even in his wins, you know he will have some kind of, his composure will go, and like someone has to snap him back into focus or has to refocus him. But yeah, will he have enough for it? I said last week I was backing him. You know, he's in the singles form of his career. He's playing great, but at the same time, you know, they've even addressed it kind of before the match. He is very beatable. but his strengths are very strong. He's got a lot of positives to his game. You know, he knows his stuff, and you know, I love it. And Roxy's got his back all the way, and yeah, I was just super happy for him. And yeah, that was it really. As the promo was great, I thought as well for this one. So yeah, I was just confident for Schneider, and that's how it turned out.
John, take us through round one, because these guys are playing at a level that is only reserved for tournaments like this. It's only reserved for the stages we get to at this point in the season, and it's the best of the best at this point. We're dealing with the best of the best.
Absolutely, yeah. And you saw that in that first round. There's not a lot to say about this one, except that both of them technically, almost, sort of, little bit got a perfect first round. The caveat being that Jeff Snyder actually got a perfect first round with the answer Sausage Party, whereas Ethan Irwin answered, of course, Sausage Fest, which I believe was the American title for the film, where Sausage Party was Canadian. I think that's where that breakdown
Party
happens.
was the regular title. That's the movie I saw in theaters. Was Sausage Party.
You saw this in theaters? We're gonna have to have a talk later, buddy.
But yeah,
I 9-7.
Seth Rogen's work.
Then send a message with your money that he needs to do better projects. 7-9 coming out of round one. Again, like you were saying, the best of the best at this point, Colin.
9-8 going into round two.
9-7.
9-7.
Excuse me, 9-7. And so it's not the best place you want to be when you're going up against a former champ, but you're a champ yourself. So if you're Irwin, you're feeling scrappy, you're feeling ready to fight back. I feel like that. I mean, Ethan was not he was not backing down in the moment. He was immediately ready to step up. You can tell that Sam is immediately clicks into exactly what he needs to be mode. Boggs, how do you feel round two goes? Do you feel that, Ethan adequately responds? Do you feel that, Jeff was ready for a bit of a snapback, but like it felt like a great round two?
Yeah, well, just to end the first round, when Irwin missed that, when he wrote Sausage first, I actually went, oh, like, I don't know why, like, I just found it so shocking. Like, it seemed like it's like a simple mistake to make, but for some reason, like, I was just expecting both to get perfect rounds, and then because I thought, oh, he can go 9-7 here, and obviously, against Ethan, any lead is a big lead, and then the first question for obviously Ethan, he spans fancy sci-fi, respun, hit it again. The first question was, when I heard in click, I thought, okay, fantasy sci-fi. And then what was the stuffed animal question? I was thinking, what? That's like a 3-pointer, probably, if not more. He had to go multiple choice. He did get it, and then went kind of perfect for the rest of the round. But yeah, I mean, just that first question, I thought, like, what's going off here? But no, he did kind of fix up after that. And then obviously Schneider's gone for his second round. Let me just get my notes up. He spun 80s, obviously first biopics, respun, hit 80s. Has struggled a little bit. Obviously, it is a broad category. Got multiple choice a few times, had one steal, and went down, finished the round down 15-13. Overall, and then at the end of the round, we see the shots from Sam saying, he's rattled. And then you can see him slumping in his chair. And then I thought what the best part of the match was, and probably Roxy's best moment of the season. I mean, it made me sit forward in my chair. That speech did, like, whoa, like, come on. Like, that's what he needs. Just needs shaking. Like, come on, Jeff, you're still in it. At the end of the day, if you're hitting your 5-pointer and you're still in the match, who knows what happens. And that's what happened. It happened last match with Paul. But overall, yeah, the second round, it was obviously him going down and then Roxy kind of shaking him back into focus. I loved it.
She kind of smacked him in the face. I don't think we've seen
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, I mean, she kind of spoke to this afterwards, but it is kind of surprising that she was able to pull him out of that, because that's something we all see, and I feel like we've already said it tonight, but like, yeah, I mean, he's really strong in what he knows. I personally thought he would go better in 80s. I don't know if that's like just making the wrong assumption or whatever, but yeah, you got to pull him out of that. And it's hard to pull somebody like that out of that when you're not in front of them. We can't literally shake them or slap them in the face or like actually show them with like the passion in your eyes how much you care about them. Like she did a really good job, and obviously it worked.
It takes years of that, right? Like that takes years of trust for him to be able to probably be able to have 3 people be able to pull him out of a slump like that. Their names are Mark Andreyko, Roxy Schreier, and Josh Tapia, also known as Josh the Engineer, also known as JTE. Like that's it. And that's very rare air to be in for a competitor. Can you guys name anybody that for Dan Murrell like that? Like even Roca would probably have a hard time getting to Dan. In the moment, it would feel like he did, but I feel like even Dan would has a hard time like letting people in like that. It's not. I mean, like
I think they said they did in the Bateman title match at the start of the season because he was down right in the
Right.
5th round, and he was like, just stay in it, kind of because he thought he lost by when they were answering the 5-pointer, but kind of
Right.
Roca, he credited Roca for focusing him, and obviously Bateman missed.
Right, but how hard it is to
that's like a one
all timers. Like it literally, like no one else. I mean, the only other team I've ever been able to think that Ethan Irwin could succeed on would be Swag, and that's just kind of like gives me kind of like the like Ibrahimovic going to LAFC to America for like a retirement year, right? He just wants to like have fun, like these players that just go like retire for the last season of their career and get a big contract or whatever. Sam is it for Ethan. Sam is the one who he can have, or he respects him. He respects his brain. He doesn't just respect him as a schmodown competitor. He respects him as a human being. He respects him as an actor, and it's just kind of like a level of, that we don't see across the board. So, John, where are you at going into round 3? Because we're kind of seeing like this feels like a final. Like if I'm watching this right now, the way these managers are with their guys, like this feels it definitely has final level stakes.
Sure, absolutely. As far as the team up of Sam and Ethan goes, it does still kind of bum me out that it seems like Ethan is the only player that really makes Sam come alive in the way that he does as a manager.
Yep.
But at the very least, as much smack as I've talked about Sam in this season, like certainly he is doing good work with Ethan. He's clearly very passionate about Ethan personally, which has been benefiting him very well as a singular player of the faction during the season. And then as many bad things as I have to say about Jeff Snyder, I definitely am not going to discount Roxy Stryer. Like she is absolutely a manager who cares. This is one of those moments where it's very clear that like her value on loyalty really matters a lot because of how like much she's really willing to like kind of get into Jeff's head, really know this guy and try to speak him into being an adult. This was definitely a pretty high stakes round 3, especially because again with that 2-point difference, that is truly a difference where it is still anybody's game when you're talking about round 3 where the lowest value question is 2 points.
No one's safe. That's always what we say. There's a certain level of comfortability that you can have going into round 3 that's immediately vanished. It goes away completely when it says, I could miss my 5-pointer. They can make all their questions, and I could lose. It's out of my hands at this point. Boggs, where are you leaning? Did you think Snyder, was it still have full faith in your boy, or were you kind of going, Ethan might be upset in your mind? I know it might be the upset to everybody else, but I know it would have been the upset to you.
It was up until Roxy's kind of in the corner kind of speech, basically. Then I was like, okay, come on, because he said, I'm in. He actually said that, right? So that kind of put me on the edge of my seat, like, okay, what's gonna happen? Like I just sensed something that was just kind of gonna happen. Like when someone does a speech like that, it normally like kind of goes that way. I don't know, in terms of like boxing matches or like a movie. Yeah, exactly. It just
we ever see another one again?
And it was just a great speech, a great reaction from Snyder. Obviously, his first question was 2.8. He's got that. It's the 3.0 was a Little Shop of Horror question, which somehow Ethan knew, but like they were going to ask about the musical. And that was weird because Jeff hit his 2.0. That was his first question in the second round, Little Shop of Horror, which he knew. So I thought he knew this one because he used a repeat. So, and then what are you pointing at?
John knew it, and I knew it.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Then he's hit obviously the 5, which is the pub trivia one, and putting the pressure then on Ethan.
And then insulted by that question. I love when Jeff's one of the few players. He's one of the few players that will just totally turn into the like, oh come on, I know this, and it's just like a motive.
He's very cocky. Yeah, he's very cocky.
Out the window.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love the cockiness, the arrogance,
it's the polar opposite of Jason Bateman because Jason Bateman.
Ben.
Bateman? Yeah. Sorry, I've had Jason Bateman on the brain this week.
He's in game night.
I know he feels that, right? Like you can feel when Ben, like he totally like, but then his body stops and he's like, "Oh, I have 3 JTEs. I'll just use all of these." And so like it's just the total difference of like how they play the game. Like Jeff's the guy that wants to, score the 3-pointer at the end of the game. No time left on the clock. He doesn't want to leave any time left for the opponent to come back. And it's kind of how he's like, all right, cool, walk off. I'm done. I did what I did.
Yeah, even Ethan's 5-pointer, when he's getting up off the chair and walking around the room like, oh, I've lost, that kind of, I swear, for me, that, first of all, I love that as just pure entertainment. But for me, that will distract me. I'm hitting a 5-pointer. I don't know the question. I need the recall. I need repeats. And this guy's up and down, huffing and puffing, like throwing his arms around. Like, yeah, it's like
he knows it.
Yeah.
Because if he feels like
he's done the whole horns thing.
And if he feels like he knows it, then he obviously
because he's acting as if it's an easy question kind of thing.
Right. So, yeah. But I mean, I get what you're saying that it's like fun to watch, but I think that we kind of already said this, but yeah, when he looks so defeated, like it would theoretically make the person who's playing against like think that they have it in the bag.
Yeah.
And then that might just like increase the chances that he loses. Like, does he act? He doesn't act, right?
No, Jeff is a critic. Jeff is a critic. Jeff is
in this Showdown, he does, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not his strong suit. Recall maybe, but
no, Jeff, no.
I mean, if he's not that, he'll take his shirt off. He'll just do anything ridiculous, climb on the desk, like whatever. It's just like
we're not calling that a strength, are we? Because I can't condone that.
I am straight up. I am. I think that's a
Jeff
tactic.
Snyder.
That's mind games. Yeah,
set decoration.
No, I definitely think it's a strength. It's pure stupidity. Don't get me wrong, but like it's still a way of putting, trying to throw someone off. Trying to distract someone. It's as petty as it is. It's still still potential tactics.
This is the Schmodown Entertainment Network that we are watching.
As long as it entertains you, that's all that matters.
Pretty much, yeah. Like people like him, Kalinowski, Guy, Roker, Bateman. They're my favorites. All the serious ones. They're all nice and everything, but I'm here for the showmanship.
Yeah, especially against Erwin, who is just like so chill. Like he had that doll that literally looked
exactly,
like he didn't tell us it was him, and it took him like 6 matches to name it. So like that's not where his brain is either. Like obviously he's very talented, but like he's not doing the bells and the whistles and the lights and any of it.
John, final thoughts on this match before we move on to find out who will be Jeff Snyder's opponent in the singles final.
Yeah, final thought. The action figure's name is Ethan because it's an Ethan Erwin action figure. I don't understand why we're talking about that. At most it's going to be called Ethan Jr. But yeah, I'm with Ethan. Like, of course, Ethan's not thinking about what's its name. It's him. It's his name. Of course, he's not going to be thinking like, oh, Rodney, oh, Theodore. No, it's him.
Well, I don't know.
That's my final thought.
Say that the first time. That's all I'm saying.
Well, folks, we've made it to a point in this tournament that I didn't think was ever going to happen because I never saw these two competitors getting to this point. This is something that if you were a creator of this tournament, you probably almost had as a play-in match. And if you didn't, and if you were arguing against me, you're a liar. These are two players who were coming in with no record or a losing record coming into this tournament, who were highly touted by their managers. Of course, I'm talking about Lightning Liz Shannon Miller and Adam the Coyote Collins. Liz was actually Jeff Snyder's preferred opponent in the post-game match, in the post-game, talk, whatever. Snyder said, I'd actually like to play Liz. Interesting enough. Didn't the hands of fate did not seem to want to give the Snyder man everything he wants. Boggs, how are you leaning going into this match?
Well, first of all, I thought, who's calling this match? Because I'm seeing Josh McCougar and Drew on the stream. I was like, okay, what's going on here? So it looks like we've got another potential match for Spectacular. They didn't announce anything, specifically.
This episode is sponsored by Bud Light Platinum Seltzer.
Wild berries.
Wild berry.
Oh, okay, right.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have been keeping that till it was
Literally,
appropriate.
this has just been in the show in the fridge.
You're waiting to pop it, basically. Okay.
So everybody who watches the show knows I love my seltzer, and this is 8% seltzer as opposed to the regular like 4.5 or 5% seltzer. And I had one of them one time, and I was like,
appropriate for the wild berries.
Oh, only appropriate for a wild berry moment. But I will not even be drinking it. This is just for like show. This might as well be like a Funko Pop, like in like a box somewhere. It ain't coming out. Like I might
save it for Spectacular. Yeah. And speaking of Funko Pops, every episode your background is looking better and better, and just
Thanks,
more.
sir.
Yeah, and there's more like.
More bookshelves are coming
like
in.
A museum or something.
Yeah, and hopefully we can I got
John,
this,
get on our level.
I got the Star Wars ones over here, and if you haven't heard, Boggs and I are starting our own Star Wars show, which is called We Have the High Ground, and hopefully every episode I'll be able to take enough time and switch around the background because I have enough to mess around. But we'll be discussing the Mandalorian on upcoming episodes. A little plug, but over to John. Plug us in. What did you think of this? I would call it brotherly love, but they don't seem like brothers anymore. More like step brothers.
Oh shit!
Oh, we're talking about Makuga and Dewberry. I thought you were trying to segue me into the match. I was like, yeah, I definitely don't know about that. I mean, look, Shannon's manipulating Elliot. Surely we can all agree upon this. That subtle drop of, yeah, Shannon, you could talk to her. She's managing all my communications. Our dear internet today friend has been led astray. And that's a rhyme, and I'm good at speaking. I saw a little promo drop earlier that it was a poster for this event for a Schmodown Throwdown that was asking the question, will Makuga accept? And I'm sure as happy as Makuga would be to hop back into the ring, it's of course the question of the stipulations, making it a retirement match where whichever one of them loses has to stop competing. I mean, I think on the one hand, it does sort of make sense as much as those two gentlemen love playing together, and I love watching them together. They, by design, do not take this as seriously as many of both the players and fans.
What? No.
So, yeah, right? And as much as I love them, in this new era of factions and drafts and teams, like it was simply too easy for the Wild Berries to get split up. They're not playing together. Now Elliot's playing with a very angry actor for a very angry faction over on Corruption. And then Makuga exists on Swag, but as more of an idea or a symbol than anything else. Like it doesn't surprise me that these two are just like, well, maybe, our time in this game is done. Maybe it's time for us to go hang out with only stupid answers in the green room in the sky.
I agree up to where I just feel these two have always been the poor man's Patriots. It's just like they exist to entertain and nothing else. And it's like they are... I would almost rather watch like Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin trash the Wildberries than watch whatever Kevin Smith is going to do to Brett Sheridan at Spectacular.
That would be funny.
Right? It's just like, it seems like that's the kind of level of Schmodown we're talking about here. There was kind of that like 6 to 7 month period of the end of the Collider years where it was a lot of like Power Ranger and Jurassic Park, kind of matches like that. And it was just kind of, there was a sense of fun, right? There was still a sense of like, there was more the Schmodown can offer other than just round 1, round 2, round 3. Here are the rules. This is what we're going to do. There was a different level to this stuff. And the wild berries to me were always like a little piece of ginger. Wild berries. Woo! Just a little piece of ginger or a little fucking shotgun PBR at a college football tailgate. Whatever you need. Like they're either or. And that is a scent this league hasn't smelled in a little while. Just a little bit of fun, because this year has been very serious. It's been very, the stakes have been raised up until that. I would say the Jericho and Kevin Smith match is probably the closest to anything like that we've seen this year. And that's just on pure star power, which in a sense lowers the level of anticipation of the competition, which is kind of the same thing that the Wildberries do with their boisterous and their, flamboyancy, is that they make you feel more comfortable with how fun they are. And that's just something I miss. So to me, it's kind of sad, because I don't want them to go, because they haven't been here for a while. And now you're making me see one of them go where neither of them have really been around. It would be different if Elliot had been a competitor in the Inner Geekdom, or had even tried to throw his, hat into being one of the corruption competitors in the teams tournament. But that wasn't quite the case. So overall, I'm kind of this kind of feels like it came out of nowhere, but I'm still excited for it, just because I love these two guys as talking heads on my computer. So other than that, I'm kind of down with whatever Spectacular throws. 7 matches. I feel like there's no way Spectacular is not gonna be 7 hours. So we'll be here for all of it. Boggs, this match is definitely this match this was the lead up to. Liz and Adam are just playing a whole different level of schmodown. This is rookies, or not rookies, because Liz, has a history, but kind of has that, not quite as aware as we are of other players. Where are you going into this match? And I felt like corruption kind of just had that wave pushing them all week up into this.
Yeah, Colin's kind of quietly confident way about him. Liz, I just felt like I don't know, I just felt she needed Winston at the start of the match. I don't know if that would have made a difference to the match, but I just thought Winston, whilst kind of Shannon's got Colin's back, it would just be nice to maybe distract her a little bit and just kind of take the attention away, maybe take a bit of pressure away. So that was a bit of a shame. But obviously both going, absolutely solid round one. Liz only missed the one Milan question. And then obviously Collins is gone perfect, then hit his bonus. So he's got a nice 7-up. But yeah, both started off really strong. And then, I was more interested in the second round, because that's where kind of Collins is most kind of strongest, basically. So I wanted to see what they'd spin, kind of what was going off there. But overall, really strong start.
I would say his recall. That is one thing where it's
he's calm as well. He's calm. He's slow with it. He doesn't rush. Right. Well
doesn't
thought
matter
through.
the moment. Doesn't matter what it is. And it's like a coyote. It's a coyote that is just it doesn't matter what the situation is. Whenever I have to eat, I'm gonna eat. And this guy shows up and he eats, and he will eat whatever scraps you leave behind, and he will tear them up. If it's 2, he'll take 2. If it's 1, he'll take 1. And It seems that has been the consistent thing with him, is that he will not leave any points left on the table. And he is on a run right now of answering questions that I've never quite seen before. So with his, which we can talk about, and actually our friend Matt from over at Spin from the Reel, messaged me on Twitter during the match.
Me too.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't know what I'm feeling about some of these questions. Right, I just feel a little suspect in round 3, but round 2, it just seemed like Adam was, he was hungry. So John, do you recall seeing a player like this that's so scrappy in round 2? Because that seems to be where he's taken advantage of his opponents in this tournament. Really, aside from Brendan Myers' one mishap that he had, is where round 2 seems to be where he eats his supper.
I mean, I feel like I kind of watched a different match than you guys. I disagree. I mean, certainly Adam Collins is a good scrappy player, but let's not forget the fact that both Collins and Miller got these same number of points in round 2. And unlike Liz, Collins missed a question.
Did it?
Like, that's the kind of thing where I thought this was kind of maybe the
He almost
weakest
missed
round
2,
2 that
but he
we've
only missed 1.
Yeah, but this was still probably the weakest round 2 that we've seen from Adam Collins. Like, that was a pretty big swing and a miss on that expendables question. Granted, yes, it's, a difference between a singular integer, mind you. It's like the difference between party and fest. But this was definitely a weaker Collins, not only because he did have that one miss that Liz could have stolen but didn't, but also because we got that insight into, this wheel, whatever about it, was kind of leaving Adam a little bit shook. You could hear him talking about, like, I guess this is probably the category I'm going to go with. So this was really kind of a weaker showing for Adam Collins. And Liv Shannon Miller, yes, she wasn't able to get that steal, but she managed to keep that lead the exact same that it was. A 2-point lead by Collins, which, like I said, not where you want to be, but easily overcomable. Like, a 2-point lead is still anybody's game coming out of round 2. I feel like this was, again, just a testament to why these two are here, despite a lot of people, myself included, not having them make it this far in their brackets, is because they are both good. They're both often slept on. And definitely the momentum was going on with Collins, I think, overall. But Liz Shannon Miller proving that, like, certainly people like me were big dumb idiots for not having her move past round 1. She's a very good player, and she was keeping this match as tight as it could be.
And I don't think that makes you a big dumb idiot, but I think it just goes to show.
Well, there's plenty of other stuff that makes me a big dumb idiot. Don't you worry.
Not maybe like a no. Those are 3 big words. Those are big words. I don't like those words.
Handle so much self-deprecation
Yeah.
per episode.
Yeah, 100%. So, Gayane, I mean, how are you feeling during this up until round 3? Like, were you feeling that Liz still had a chance, or was this kind of Adam was playing well enough that you felt confident in his ability to succeed?
I mean, kind of going back to what you guys started this on, I do feel like when Snyder said that he would rather play her, it's not, he didn't say anything bad about her as a competitor, but it was clear that, like, Collins kind of intimidates him. And, like, we discussed,
he knew more about Liz. He admitted, like, they worked together, like they were able, like, they had more of a rapport. But yeah.
But you're trying to take away my point. My point still stands. Like,
tell him, yeah.
We also discussed that he seems like he was probably intimidated by Collins, right? Because of the way he plays. Like, I mean, I would not want to go up against him in, like, anything. Like, he's very, like, quiet and reserved, but then also, like, he brings in that coyote thing, and he has like a little bit of a game behind him. I don't really know if Liz would have necessarily gotten that Mulan question correct if Winston had been there, but I do agree that, like, she, like, it, as much as she said she can handle it by herself, and obviously she could, like, it probably would have been nice for her. Or on the other hand, like, not to dive too deep into it, but maybe whatever was going on with Winston at the time that they filmed that match was, like, distracting her a little bit, because it seems like they all have personal relationships with each other. And, like, again, I don't know if that would have really made her remember that Mulan's a 98 movie, or remember the names of the actors that were thrown at her for that question, but that definitely could have been a part of it. It did, like, once you get to round 2, it did kind of seem like she was a little bit behind, but, like, I wouldn't say underdog or anything. It just seemed like, again, Adam Collins is a little bit intimidating. He's, like, even though he's new to all of this for us, he clearly knows what he's doing. But I mean, round 3 is always, like, you never know, because it's just 3 numbers, and whether they're sexy numbers or whether they're the worst numbers ever, it could result in anything.
And I picked Liz because she picked 2 out of the greatest 6 numbers of all time: 8, 15, 16, or 5, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42. She picked 5 out of the. She picked 2 out of the 5 lost numbers, and whenever you pick a majority of lost numbers, you're good to go. But just came down, unfortunately, to that Thor question, which is, man, that is a deep cut. And
do you know that, Colin? Did you know that? Or because I know we've been studying and
I mean,
Oh, did
I
you
was
really?
guessing,
Oh,
but
okay.
I like had this like gut feeling that that's what I remembered him saying,
Yeah.
and it was serpent. I mean, behind the scenes, Colin was between serpent
and bunny.
monkey.
Serpent and monkey.
Okay.
Serpent and
Bunnies
monkey.
don't have hands. so
Serpent
how
and
would a
monkey. She
rabbit-
said bunny. She
No, I
said
know
bunny.
that's what she said. How would a rabbit like step? But I mean, she just couldn't.
Murderous bunny. And then now I just
She
see like
couldn't pull it,
murderous
and she
Marvel
just made a
bunny,
guess.
like Rocket Raccoon's like
What?
evil stepsister.
Bunnicula? Was that a
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, just on that round 2, like you're right, John. That was his weakest showing because obviously he missed the question straight up and it was up for a steal. I just wish he got it. Because he would be down. Because I don't think I've seen Collins down in round 3 yet. Yeah, and you know, I was talking to Matt, like you were messaging me as well, and just saying like he gets these lucky breaks. I don't know what's going on. I mean, is it luck really? I mean, at the end of the day, it's skill. Because you know the answers, but it just seems to these things kind of do seem to go his way a lot. Where like she just didn't know this. She could have guessed, you know, it's either side of the two, number 2, and she's gone the wrong way. So just that luck seems to be on his side. But yeah, she has missed that tough question. And yeah, obviously we've got a final now overall, and yeah, like I'll tell you now, I'm going Jeff all the way. So
all the way.
So surprised.
All the way.
surprised.
This is so like
Exactly.
the easiest.
But I did
call.
like Colin saying, I want to feed on some goat. I was like, okay, I like that. Yeah, that goes well. But yeah, I did. You know, something just as well that left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Liz saying having a little shot at the racism thing in Disney. I was like, okay, just that wasn't the
second. It was the voice actor. It was the second voice actor. It was a white actor. It was a white voice actor in an all predominantly Asian movie. So that.
But to be fair, like I'm just saying, on the other side of that, I mean, that's the one. Pat Morita is that they've only got one Asian. That's Asian acting. There's only one kind of
He's not
Disney Asian movie. So like. Like you should have got that really. Like,
but how many Greek actors are in Hercules?
Yeah,
None.
But true. But I just think that wasn't a totally fair shot. But okay.
you can smell the salt. You can smell the salt in the moment, right? Like you can smell that sizzling a little bit. That you would definitely, if your mind was going a certain kind of way, I could definitely be tilted to feel another. But John, any final thoughts on this match before we all quickly preview tonight's main pay-per-view event?
No, because we only have 6 minutes. We don't have any time for thoughts of mine. This was a very good match. I have Collins winning the tournament. I have Stacey Howard winning the preview match, I guess, for tonight. And then I have Corruption winning the main event tonight. Those are my 3 thoughts. And I know, obviously, you guys disagree with me on Colin Snyder. That's okay. But I am interested to hear what your thoughts are for the 2 events that are happening in 6 minutes' time.
Tonight's going to be fantastic, folks. And like my friend over there, John Barr, said, we have 2 fantastic matches tonight. We have a team's championship bout between Corruption versus Shazam. Every time, man. Every time I feel like it could happen.
You're not saying it right. That's why. No, I don't know.
Shazam!
That's
One
not
day.
right.
It didn't work. I see. I try to do it right, and it doesn't. Wait, Kazam. That's what it is. Nope, not
Shaquille
Kazam.
O'Neal just pops up.
Not Kazam either.
Oh.
Yeah, Shaq just shows up. Oh boy,
Oh,
wouldn't that be lit? Shaq just pops up in the back.
Go to
But
the
we
general,
also
save
have
some time.
Gray Drake versus Stacey Howard, and unlike John, I'm gonna go Gray Drake here. I'm going with the OG. I'm going with the OG one of the OG female competitors of the Schmodown to make a return here, because I know someone who loves movies and I've watched her on this show for years, and it is Gray Drake. And now she has had a quarantined amount of time to study up for this event, just to study up to be in the Schmodown in general, just watching movies she didn't know she hadn't watched. I think Gray Drake is to be feared tonight. I think this is going 3 rounds. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out. If it is, Stacey Howard's knocking her out. Just gonna cover all my bases here with my bets on the crap, on the roulette table. I'm just gonna cover all the bets. But yeah, that's my pick for the first match. Gayane, any thoughts on the first match?
Okay, well, like our dear John Barr, I do not like to make picks because I know that I'm often going to be wrong.
It's all right.
but I think my gut has to go with Stacy.
Oh dear boy.
And I did.
Your boy.
Is that surprising? I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the betrayal cough, classic.
No, we're good now.
Yeah, I mean, I miss seeing her compete, and it's been a while. And I mean, there's two options, and you got to pick one because I'm here on the show tonight. So I'm picking Stacy.
Revenge for Eric
Fair
Zipper.
point.
That's all
I mean,
that's all I'm here for. Justice for Eric Zipper. That's why Gray Drake will win tonight.
Justice.
Sure. I
In
love
the
Eric.
next match, or the Boggs, do you have a
Oh yeah, I'm going Stacey. I'm going Stacey definitely. I do like them both, but I just think she's played more, a lot more recently, and just overall, just she's had some great matches. So I'll go for the high caliber player, basically.
Full warranty, and just gonna put this out to rename Gray Drake the Chameleon because she will have competed in just as many iterations of the Schmodown as John Roca, and I'm pretty sure that's it. John
Riley?
Roca is from season 1, and Mark Riley. They are the only ones left from that first batch of season 1 competitors.
Because I think they played each other in season 1, maybe. Yeah.
Yes,
I've seen that.
It was an unbelievable match, but that was a totally different game, a totally different time. But into the second match, the title match. It's KO time. It's corruption time. It's all about the boy. It's all about Chance. I ain't never seen no chips on those shoulders like I've seen chips on these shoulders. It's time for the Cobra. Coming to a strike.
Yeah, this is my chance dance. So we're winning tonight. No, it's obviously Shazam, coming in great form, they're super confident. Probably if I'm being objective, that they might even be the favorites going in. They've played a lot more matches recently. But I've just got I trust my boy Chance, and Mike has to have a big game. But yeah, I just think maybe the round 4 digital aspect. Obviously, Shazam haven't been through that. These guys have been through it individually in a geekdom and in the team situation. I think that's an advantage there. Just the overall pressure in title situations, title matches. The Kid and Bibbs haven't been the best under pressure in the digital space, and maybe not with each other, like in studio matches or in a live match. So yeah, I just think I'm going for corruption, and the big win for them, and come on, Chance. Yeah,
and John, I don't know if you heard this point. I made this point on Wednesday's episode of Spin from the Reel. We've never seen, and I looked this up. We have never seen a team's championship match with 4 competitors all coming off of losses into the match.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of these competitors are coming off of a loss the last time they played in the Schmodown. So aside from no, all of them. Mike losing to Perry, Chance losing, and all of them losing in the singles tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we've ever seen anything like that. So if it just throws any sort of Monday morning quarterback, like anything you could have, possibly thrown in as they got a chip on their shoulder. You could say the same thing about every competitor for the first time in one of these matches. And it's just huge. It's huge.
Sure. Well, listen, it's 5:00 now. So hypothetically, those matches are starting. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, well, maybe all 4 of those players are coming off of this out of a loss. I never feel like I'm losing when I get to hang out with these 3.
And
what a great
to hang out with tomorrow instead of you?
Why, whom, Colin?
Nerd Chronic himself. So get ready when you watch those promos tonight, because the man himself, Eric Nerd Chronic, will be on the show tomorrow to talk with me and Boggs, and it's going to be absolutely fabulous-tastic, kocious. It's going to be a fantastic
pleasure. Our pleasure.
Oh, it's going to be great. So, yes, it is 8:00, 5:00, 1:00, and it's time for the movie trivia Schmodown. It is time for a good old Schmodown throwdown. So, for Gayane, for John, and for Boggs, I'm Colin, and this has been the Ultimate Schmodown Show live pregame show. We'll be back tomorrow, like I said, with Eric Nerd Chronic to break down this amazing pay-per-view event. So enjoy, and we'll see you next time. Bye.